and welcome to round 7 of the Legacy Championships here at Eternal Weekend. I'm Randy Bueller. I'm in the booth with Matt Elias, and we are watching Osyp Lebedowicz running a Delver deck with just red as his second color, so blue-red Delver. He's playing against Jason Kim with the Goblins. Looks like Osyp's going to crack a fetch land, gets basic island. I don't know if he's aware of his opponent's list or not, but when in doubt, they probably have Wasteland, and if you can get away with it, you probably want a basic land.
Yeah, definitely one advantage to his list compared to a Rug Delver or 4-color Delver.
He gets to run basics.
Yeah,
right?
he gets to run the basics.
Yeah, and you see he did crack his fetch land main phase before his opponent could potentially stifle it, and then just shift the turn. Didn't have a card to play, but did not want to risk stifle. So we see Rishadan Port into Aether Vial, and that's a clear sign he does not know he's playing against Goblins, by the way, because he's playing around stifle.
Right. So that play pretty much narrows his options to the...
Right, he still doesn't know a color, but
yeah, it's
you
either...
smell Goblins at this point, I would think?
It's
or
probably,
Affinity's not
Goblins
gonna
or probably Death and Taxes.
Yeah. Young Pyromancer. That is one of the reasons that Delver likes to play red. See, Osyp held off on Gitaxian Probe. I'll wait. I'll see your hand on turn 2 when I get a 1/1 for my trouble. There they are. What do we got?
Cavern of Souls.
Cavern, is that a Matriarch?
Yeah, Matron, Tarfire, and War Chief.
Land War Chief? Yeah.
Yeah, so...
It's not a great hand, right?
No, most likely
Seems
going to see
slow.
a Tarfire killing that Pyromancer next turn would be my guess. But it is very slow.
Yeah, he gets to kill the Pyromancer, but...
Or at least try to.
Fair. Counter on top of the library to remind him to tick up his Aether Vial. Draws, I think, another Cavern.
Yeah.
Alright, Arid Mesa. We said there is a small white splash in this deck. He's got 3 copies of Thalia.
It gives the Goblin deck, a chance to sort of what we saw happen with the High Tide against Death and Taxes.
Yeah.
So some decks, just jamming out that Thalia is all you need.
Yeah, it seems like a good weekend for Thalia. I mean, a lot of people running combo decks of various forms, and just being able to slow them down for a turn is really good. Kind of the way the metagame has gone.
Combos in well with the Wastelands and the ports that the deck already runs to kind of keep the opponent off their game.
Right. Not going to get the Plateau, though. He definitely goes basic Mountain against a Delver deck he recognizes that he's pretty sure does have Wastelands. All right, Pyromancer down, but still a 1/1 to attack with. And what does Osyp have for the turn?
The sleeve gets in there for 1. And another Pyromancer.
Pyromancer.
Wow.
And Osyp no longer worrying about when to crack his fetch lands. Aether Vial ticks up. Wasteland. I don't know that Jason wants to be playing a disruption game, though. He's facing 3 mana. Does he Matriarch here?
He can Matron for another Tarfire if he wants to. He has options. He also has to be aware of days from the Delver deck. Letting that Vial tick up 1 more lets him kind of deploy those threats without the worry of counter. So it may be worth waiting.
He's gonna go for the Wasteland plus Port play. At least he's gonna try to. I assume he's wasting the Volcanic.
Yeah, I would think so.
Did Osyp have a Stifle in his hand? Or does he have a spell he can play and then daze? He has a Stifle in his hand? That's a beating here.
Yeah.
Stops the Wasteland, makes another 1/1.
Yeah, he does.
And this is just the way Osyp wanted this game to play out.
Yeah, this is, so far, things going well for him.
I mean, Jason went for the slow play because he was worried about days. So, I go a little slower, I'll just disrupt your mana base instead of trying to play anything out, and doesn't even get to do that.
Yeah. Young Pyromancer is a card that I guarantee is going to be on the coverage tomorrow as well. It's really made a splash in both Legacy and Vintage.
True.
Of course, in Vintage you have the ability to play Gush.
Sure.
Which kicks things to a whole nother level, but...
Alright. Activates Aether Vial.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Is he trying to bait a Stifle? Does he even have a 2-drop?
I don't know that he does. I mean, Mog War Marshal would be the dream here, but I think he's baiting a Stifle.
He's baiting a Stifle, and it's going to work.
I mean, he's going to get a 1/1 out of it, but
still, it's pretty smart play.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think he has a 2-drop. Oh, Osyp did not fall for it. Wow.
I think he's still deciding.
It's a clever play, whether it works or not. Like, there's no reason not to activate your Aether Vial here, right? Osyp's going to brainstorm.
Yeah, because if he has Mog War Marshal and
it's a beating.
Yeah, I mean.
So Osyp's going to get some more information before he decides. What do you draw?
He has Lightning Bolt, Brainstorm, and a land to go along with his Stifle and 2 Dazes. When you have a Pyromancer out with 3 tokens already, that's pretty much right where you want to be.
Yeah. It's kind of only the Aether Vial that can do him in. Certainly dodges all the Dazes. Wow, would you Stifle here if you're Osyp? We still got to decide what to put back with Brainstorm, but I mean that's the real question.
I might. I might. I mean, if I'm thinking he's got the Mog War Marshal and I'm going to lose my Pyromancer here, the rest of my hand is not going to be good enough to win this game, I don't think. The more time that Goblins deck has to tick that Vial up, the scarier things get for me, so.
It's a nice tempo play, too. Like, you make a guy, your opponent does not get to put a creature in play. So now next turn, when he's Aether Vialing, he's putting his first creature into play.
Right.
Yeah, I think he's supposed to Stifle. Even though, I mean, we know it's not going to do anything. The Aether Vial is a total bluff. Cool scenario.
Yeah, Vial, kind of one of those cards. Again, not as common as it used to be, but still terrific.
Ah, okay.
All right. Well done.
Osyp with the Soul Read. And the Wasteland. Wow.
Yeah,
Stifles your waste. Waste your port. You're down to Mountain and Aether Vial.
And this is going to be a good example of how quickly things get out of hand with young Pyromancer.
Sure. There's nothing resembling a sweeper in this deck, right?
Post-board, yes. Pre-board, no.
He's got what, Pyrokinesis after board?
Yeah, after board, the Pyrokinesis can kind of do a nice job handling this stuff, but.
All right, Cavern of Souls into Thalia. Cavern's relevant there. It would have been dazed if it wasn't for the Cavern.
Yeah, I mean yeah, he can't even bolt it, but I mean not right this second anyway.
It's a first striking blocker.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's going to.
That does still die to lightning.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's going to make it deceased.
He would have preferred to daze it.
Yes.
He has to pay 1 extra for the lightning bolt.
Hopefully he gets his token. Yep.
Now he attacks into Aether Vial, which, once again, he can Stifle. This time he's got to do it, right?
Yeah, there's no reason not to now. I mean, he's going to get in there for 6 and get another token, right?
5.
Oh, 5. The one has sickness. Yep.
Right. So yeah, you Stifle this one. Yup. And Aether Vial hasn't done anything. Got to give Osyp credit. I mean, I liked Jason's play with the bluff, but Osyp managed to not use the Stifle last turn, but yes, use it this turn.
Yeah, he's turned all of Jason's attempts to hurt his mana base against him. Yeah, he's turned them against him.
This is why people like Young Pyromancer. This is what exactly what the card is supposed to do. Jason's down to, is he 9? Is that life total right?
Yeah, I think it was at 14 before the attack for 5. Sure. Does he have another Thalia?
Got another Cavern.
He's got that Matron he's been sandbagging. I mean, you can get Tarfire with that and attempt to deal with that Pyromancer.
It's a little late, but yes.
I mean, the thing...
Look, there was no previous time he could have gotten it. To be fair, Osyp would have dazed
Right. He could also get, he can get the Mog War Marshal. It's uncounterable. Does a decent job kind of trading up with these tokens.
Yeah.
And he's really a ringleader away from, potentially just busting the game back the other way.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see what he goes for here. I mean, he could get.
Does he have a sharpshooter?
He has sharpshooter in his deck, and I think he has War Chief in his hand.
That's
so.
The
yeah, he's gonna.
He does have.
Yeah, he's gonna mow that team down right here.
Well, he wants to. He's gonna get it dazed, I think.
It won't be.
Oh, because it can't be countered because of the cavern.
Yeah.
Right? Second cavern is set to goblins, presumably. Yeah, so you sharpshooter here, which threatens to wipe out the entire team next turn. War Chief.
Yep, so now it'll have haste. If he doesn't kill it,
right,
goes through the turn and then mows that team down. Very sad Dazes looking on, wishing they had something to do.
And Jason is lining up his potential blocks, I guess. I mean, this is Jason's main phase. He had to go ahead and tap Ether Vial main phase to avoid getting it stifled again.
And this is kind of how I would expect this to play out.
Oh, so it's going to daze it anyway? Did he forget to use the cavern correctly? What? Or he just wants a token?
Yeah, so he's basically, since it's pretty much useless.
Right, he's allowed
anyway,
to target it with the daze.
It just
it's certainly true. No, he's got cavern set to all his creature types now. Like Thalia doesn't overlap with goblins, but he's got the 2 caverns, so every future creature is in fact going to come through a cavern. Osyp just cycles through the daze to get another token.
Yeah, he understands the situation here, so he knows.
Yeah, sharpshooter kills everything.
Yeah,
next turn.
he's
sharpshooter comes down, ping, 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 something like that. So Jason's at 9. Osyp can't afford to block with the War Chief, although he can block a 1/1. He can't afford to lose the War Chief. Brainstorm, which makes another guy. Not that that's relevant.
I mean, you can see what a great fit Pyromancer is in this type of deck. I mean, he's not doing anything that this deck wasn't already doing anyway.
Fair.
He's dazing, he's brainstorming, he's bolting things.
Right. You know what would be a good draw here? Is Stifle. He can stifle the sharpshooters untap.
It's like he got a bolt and a Lavamancer.
All right. Well, bolt should be good enough.
Yeah, this is what is that token that he has?
I don't know. Who is that? Josh Hunter Layton. Josh Hunter Layton, David Ochoa, fighting for Team Lebedowicz.
and 6 black sleeves.
He didn't have enough extra sleeves, apparently. Had to resort to the...
I mean, before the...
All right, what's the play here? Osyp seems like he's got all the tools. He's got to put 2 cards back with Brainstorm.
Is he putting the bolt back?
That would be surprising.
No, he's got it.
No, okay.
It was the Lavamancer.
He puts the Lavamancer back, right? Because he's going to use that. He's going to use.
Yeah, he should be just bolting. He should just be bolting to kill the War Chief and bash in with everyone but the Pyromancer.
I mean, that does let Sharpshooter come into play. It comes in summoning sick.
And then I think he just wins. But I think he just...
I mean, I think so.
Yeah, I think he
it's
just
like
untaps and sends the team.
A second War Chief beats him with that line?
Yeah, yes.
Like, second War Chief comes in from Aether Vial and beats him with your line. But that is what he's going to do. I mean, if he waits and bolts Sharpshooter, I don't know. It feels like it might be a safer line. I mean, they both look like they should work. He also saw Jason's hand a long time ago. I don't know if he knows any of the other cards. There's 3 cards there. One of them is Sharpshooter. It's possible that he knows 1 or 2 of the others from the opening draw. I've lost track. I mean, clearly, War Chief would be a beating here.
Yeah, he knew the Matron, he knew the War Chief, he knew the Tarfire. I think he may be out of information. I think he.
I'd be surprised if he knows the whole hand.
So he's
I mean, it makes sense.
Everyone.
Right? He clears. Yep. Oh yeah, he's willing to lose Pyromancer. Gets him down to 3, I believe.
Yep.
So Lightning Bolt is lethal.
Let's see.
He needs a War
leaves
Chief.
Leaves it at 3.
He basically needs a War Chief to go. Did he
that
just?
a Ringleader?
Oh, it's a Ringleader. Okay. Yeah, I drew Ringleader. Let's get Arid Mesa. And it doesn't do it.
No. No, I think he's dead. So you see how many tokens that Pyromancer made and how effortless it was for him to do it.
And there we go. Osyp up a game. Young Pyromancer gets it done.
Yeah, there was a ton of excitement about that card when it first came out, and I know Todd Anderson made a pretty sweet deck with that sort of a reanimation.
Young Frankenstein.
Yeah, Young Frankenstein. It's being called now, which is pretty nice deck. But if you want to just play it straight in a Delver deck, you want your Delver deck to either be immune to Blood Moon, or in this case, I just
run it.
He's actually running it,
right?
Which is very cool.
So what happens after sideboarding? Goblins is bringing in Pyrokinesis, and not much else. Maybe Red Elemental Blast, I guess.
Yeah, it's sort of a question of what does he have that he's willing to cut out.
Yeah, fair.
I don't know that Sting Scourger is where he needs to be, but so he has a little bit room to play. But Pyrokinesis is probably good.
He's got to bring that in. He's got to get. He's got to kill Delvers, and he's got to kill Young Pyromancers.
He's got the Incinerator, so he has 2 Tarfires and 3 Incinerators, plus the tutors to find them and the Sharpshooter. But I would think that he would want the ability to make sure that guy's dead. On the other side, Submerge, no. Blood Moon, no. Torment Script, no. Spell Pierce, no. Flusterstorm, Red Elemental Blast, Jitte. Could definitely see that coming in.
Sure.
That's a sweet one against Goblins, but his deck's not gonna change much.
Yeah, it seems like this match is very similar to the setup we just watched. Maybe some Pyrokinesis coming out of the Goblin side.
Goblins is really the control deck here.
Yeah, it is.
So we'll see. We'll kind of see
it's at least
what develops.
The late game deck.
Yeah.
So what's your take on the various Delver builds? If you had to play Delver in this tournament, how would you have built it?
I would probably just play a pretty stock Rug Delver like we saw Eric Pigeon play last round.
Okay.
I still think it's pretty solid. I like it better than the white, the blue-red-white.
Right. So you want Goyfs, you want Lightning Bolts.
Yeah.
You're not going to bother with Stone Fortunistic.
No, probably not. But
True name?
Maybe. We talked a little bit before. Chris Piccola had a list very similar to this that he showed me maybe 8 weeks ago. I don't know if this is his list or not. I know they talk. Obviously, they're friends, so it very well could be. But the whole point around that deck that he built was Chris has done pretty well in Star City Games Open Legacies recently, playing Rug Delver, and he noted that one of the only things I lose to is Blood Moon.
Sure.
So maybe I just want to have a Rug deck that doesn't lose to Blood Moon. And now this takes it up another notch and says, not only do I not want to lose to Blood Moon, I'm going to beat you with Blood Moon.
So you basically surrender from the stock list. You're surrendering the green cards.
Yeah.
You're surrendering Tarmogoyf. You're surrendering Nimble Mongoose. You're not messing around with Deathrite Shaman or Abrupt Decay, which isn't really the Rug list, but it's the way some of the Delvers get taken.
Yeah, and I know.
And instead, you get Young Pyromancer. In this case, you get Grim Lavamancer,
which I think is very actually good right now. I think as awkward as he is against Sneak and Show, against most of the other decks, the card is fantastic.
Right. They're running Gataxian Probe, which once you have Young Pyromancer makes sense.
Yep.
Your deck is thinner, you draw the good stuff more often, you draw the disruptive stuff more often.
Yeah, the Gataxian Probe is fantastic in this type of deck. He has Daze, Stifle, and Spell Pierce. These are all cards where the more information you have, in Wasteland as well, sequencing that first turn when you have perfect information.
Right.
It's just so much easier, so.
Although I bet you wait for turn 2 a lot. You wait for the Pyromancer. Players have drawn their second game 2 hands.
Yeah, and critically, so you're seeing, you really want to have bolts. The threat of Goblins is always, last game he had the Vial, but,
right.
The Matron is sort of or the Lackey rather, is sort of the scary play, right? So he plays a Lackey, whatever one toughness thing comes in play on the other side, you can always kill it and then just get in there and suddenly the game's out of control. Suddenly you're staring at, some type of giant goblin.
Speak of the devil.
There it is. So you're going to see that guy hit the graveyard in about 2 seconds.
Osyp draws his card for the turn. Looks like he's got a couple lands. He's going to probe first. What does he see?
Matron, Reb, Incinerator, Wasteland.
These are good cards to know about.
Yeah, this hand is in big trouble without that lackey, though.
Yes. I mean, it's not like he can mulligan it. It's a great hand.
No,
if
yeah,
survives.
it's a keeper, but
Down goes Goblin Lackey. Had to do it off of Volcanic, though, so Wasteland's in play. But Osyp knows that Wasteland is the only second land. Like,
right.
There is no other land. And
And
Jason's
he
not
can't play
going to use it. Which kind of makes Osyp happy, because he also only had 2 lands.
he has, what, a Ponder to dig?
Yep. Ponder, Daze.
Another Bolt. He's got active Force of Will.
No threats, but still in a good spot.
He's got the Stifle.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, turn that Wasteland against him again.
So what's the play? Ponder? Leave up Stifle Daze?
Yeah, it's either Ponder or do nothing. Looks like he elected to do nothing, which I think is fine.
I think he's hoping to daze a Matron here, but Jason doesn't even have the 3rd land.
He's got the Reb too. That's the other thing. So I mean, having the daze, he can set up a sequence where
point.
it doesn't really matter. But
all right, tap out for Pile Driver. That's got to be worth a daze, right? Maybe even.
He's got to
Hardcast
think
daze?
about it because he's got the Bolt too, so he can always just kill it. So he's got a couple options
Yeah,
here.
but Bolt's always going to work against whatever he
Right.
needs to kill.
Right.
Daze is a little more situational. Jason does have a land drop available, so for all Osyp knows, he could still going land threat. But I mean, what's he going to do for 1 mana that he cares more about? Aether Vial?
Yeah, he's clearly. I mean, that's clearly the debate.
I would daze this. I mean, he would have to have drawn land and Aether Vial in the 3 draw phases since you looked at his hand.
Well, and he's got the Force of Will too, in case that exact sequence of terrible things happen to him.
Right.
He still has it covered. So.
Yeah, I think I cracked Fetch and Hardcast Daze here.
Yeah, looks like he let it come in, so.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, certainly it helps that we know Jason's hand. Yeah, Osyp doesn't want to crack Fetch because I think he was hoping to draw land and didn't want to thin before that draw phase.
Yeah, agreed. So he drew Pyromancer for the turn. Elected not to kill the Pile Driver. Went to his turn, drew the Pyromancer.
He's gonna ponder.
Yeah, I think he's
really wants a land.
looking for a land here.
Not gonna let us see. So he's got Daze, Stifle, Bolt, Pyromancer, Force of Will, and one other card? Reshuffles.
They were so bad he didn't even want us to see them, apparently.
We'll never know. There's land in here, right? Yeah, okay, great.
I love that he has those Lavamancers too. And you have to wonder if Jason knows that they're in there. But another reason why if you're Jason, you really want that Pyrokinesis.
Yeah, you definitely.
Lavamancer gets out there and gets active. That's an issue. Looks like he drew Lavamancer.
That's a good draw. But he says go. So he wants keeping up Stifle for the Wasteland.
Yeah, I mean, with no other goblins out there,
it's not. It doesn't hit
yeah,
hard.
you can have your 1/2, I suppose. It's not really much of a pile driver at this point. It's more of a love tap or something. It's sort of awkward watching both of these decks just one land away from trying to do something. Jason potentially walking into this trap of being stifled.
No, you daze that.
Yeah,
one.
that one I mean, you could do both. You could just handle them both right here if you want to.
Yeah. Which land do you pick up? I think island, because you might want to bolt.
Yep.
All right, pile driver down. Says go. Bolt.
Yeah,
Go
so he's
down.
just sweeping them away.
All right. Now
Another
we can, what? Tap out for Pyromancer.
Just play Lavamancer also.
Yeah, you can go Lavamancer,
Lavamancer
leave up
was-
Stifle.
yeah.
Stifle.
I really think this sequence of plays, he's really sculpted. So yeah, he's abandoning this plan now. He really was trying to set up for the opportunity to stifle that wasteland.
Yes, for sure.
And I mean, I think that's the concern I have with this is now admittedly he has a bunch of blue spells he can play, but
It's been like 3 turns. Jason's not activating it.
is that a pyrokinesis?
It is. Interesting. Do you kill Pyromancer on sight? You can kind of wait. 'Cause
Yeah,
you can
I
get
think
a
you
token
wait.
Or two. But then you bring counter magic into play. Oh, now he does deploy
Yeah,
the wasteland.
so he's gonna waste.
Down goes Volcanic.
And
Down to
just
1
ships
mana. Yeah, all those turns, Osyp left up Stifle. 3 turns he left up Stifle.
Yeah,
The Taxian Probe is interesting here.
he really set up those first. He really wanted to stifle that wasteland.
Yeah, he did. He just couldn't find a land.
Yeah.
I mean, eventually,
Well,
it was definitely awkward for his, he had multiple awkward turns because he was trying to leave up that land.
At this point, it's not that bad. They're both staring at one land, except he's
Right.
already got. Yeah,
Right,
I mean,
that's the other thing. It's not that bad that
No.
he got wastelanded because
No.
Jason is now down to 1 man also. Osyp reads Pyrokinesis. Reads it again. Really?
kills all your guys, and he's got the red backup too. So
So Pyrokinesis is a pitch card. Same cycle as Force of Will from Alliances. Remove a red card. You get to deal 4 damage divided however you want amongst creatures.
correct. Yeah. So not quite the same impact on Magic as Force of Will, but it's been a Goblin staple pretty much forever.
Has that overtaken Contagion in terms of impact on the world? Like back in the day, Contagion
Yeah,
was the
the
second best card
Necrodex.
from that
Yeah,
cycle.
sure.
But
yeah,
I, mean,
no.
I haven't seen Contagion played in 10, 15 years.
No, I have, but it's the only deck that really played it was when it really was called Icarid then in Vintage. Now people call it Dredge now.
Sure.
But yeah, so the old Icarid decks played Contagion as a removal spell.
Right. But even that is 10 years
No,
ago.
it's gone. I mean, 4 or 5 years.
All right.
But yeah, Pyrokinesis for sure sees
Well,
more
wha-
play than the rest.
Right.
What was the white one?
Scars of the Veteran?
I mean, Bounty of the Hunt, to be honest, actually was a card for a while as well.
Yeah.
No love for Scars of the Veteran. That's a shame.
No. All right. Osyp came up with a land. It's a wasteland. Could be relevant.
He's
I mean,
got
a lot of
what does he
Jason's
have? He has-
lands are non-basic.
He has. So he's.
Yeah, it's time. It's decided. Time to deploy the Pyrokinesis.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I mean, Osyp can make a token here. Yeah, Brainstorm will get him a token.
Is that a true name Nemesis?
Another Daze. Still on Force of Will. Well, he can still Force of Will the Pyrokinesis.
Yeah. So now he can counter it.
Do you force this? He's got Red Blast.
Yeah. Well, so then you daze the Red Blast.
3 cards to stop this and the red. You get plow
but-
through the Red Blast?
Yeah.
You
but
get 2 tokens.
He's gonna play 2 more spells. So yeah, I mean, look how far ahead he's gonna be on the board after all that.
Yeah, I like it. And he knows there's not another Pyrokinesis coming.
Right.
So pitches to Stifle,
Yeah.
which never managed to connect with Wasteland. Stupid Stifle. Get out of here.
He wanted it so
Jason
bad.
Red Blast, and yes, there is
There
the
it
Daze.
is.
All right, another token.
And yet you just see how this guy just horizontally deploys an army out of nowhere.
That's nice. 5 tokens and the young Pyromancer squaring off against a mountain.
A mountain.
I think he drew
The mountain
Cavern.
stands alone for Jason.
I think he drew a non-basic land. So Osyp's probably happy to Wasteland at this point. says go.
Yeah, no need to do it.
He
I
on
guess
any,
right
yeah,
away.
he's on. His hand is Matron Incinerator.
Yeah,
Does nothing.
It does not. That's
1, 2,
7
3,
damage.
4, 5, 6, 7. Wasteland.
His hand is still very good.
He's not gonna waste. Oh, I would totally wasteland there. You wasteland the cavern, right? What do you need lands for?
I think he's gonna brainstorm first, take a look, see what he's got, and then maybe make a decision from there.
Oh, he's even found land. Now you clearly wasteland it.
Yeah.
I would have wastelanded even with no land, I think. It's the only time you regret it is if he comes
I think
up with
he's saying you need to resolve your brainstorm first. He's so excited.
It's fair.
He's like, man, I have all the goodies
I
now.
guess.
It's like, I think you need to put back 2 cards before you ruin me and destroy my Cavern of Souls.
Fine.
Well, he knows what Jason doesn't, which is that I think this game is over.
Great. Jason needs to draw Pyrokinesis, and even that doesn't seem like it's good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Drew a Sharpshooter, which could be good if somehow he magically had 2 extra lands.
Rite of Flame, Seething Song.
Right. Summoning Sickness still hurts. He gets
He's dead.
pounded.
He's got a bolt. That's game.
Yeah, Lightning Bolt will do it. 1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Kill you.
You're at 2, and
He's just giving him a turn.
yeah. There you go. There's the handshake.
And-
Osyp Lebedowicz, 2-0, showing us the power of Young Pyromancer.
Yeah, nicely played as well.
Yeah. Both of those games were Young Pyromancer games. Just exploded into an army of tokens. You know, traded cards attritionally with everything else the Goblin deck was up to, and those Young Pyromancer tokens dealt most of the damage. So Osyp 5-1-1. He's got to win 2 more.
Yeah, he's got to run the
Needs to
it
run
out
the
here.
table, but he's the table's only got 2 matches left in it, so definitely doable for him. Going to our other feature match, yes. We have lists for this.
Looks like Dredge against. So you have Brett Blackman on Dredge on the left.
And Rob Long, I think we saw him once before. I pulled the right list.
Well, if it wasn't him, it's the same type of deck. So your Esper control deck. So
Yeah, I think this is the Esper player that lost to Josh Ravitz.
Yeah, so it looks like, from what I'm seeing, there's a Rest in Peace in play, and Brett's going beat down.
Yeah, Rest in Peace doesn't seem good for the Dredge player.
No, he's going
That
beat
seems-
down with his Stinkweed Imp. Which probably seemed like an okay plan until the Stoneforge Mystic hit the table.
Yeah, so this has to be a post-sideboarded game because of the Rest in Peace. And it looks like it is all over but the finishing.
I mean,
I
he
can't
does.
imagine the beatdown plan out of the Dredge deck can't possibly be good enough, right?
Well, so he's got 3 Nature's Claims to try to, I guess, assuming that he brought them in.
Sure.
He's got 3 Nature's Claims to potentially get rid of that Rest in Peace, but yeah, it's...
All right, Stoneforge got a Jitte.
He has a Nature's Claim in his hand too, doesn't he?
Stinkweed Imp's ability to block is
Yeah,
kind
it
of
is
relevant here.
It is relevant. And he does have a Nature's Claim in his hand.
Yeah. So for the record, when Stinkweed Imp deals combat damage to a creature, destroy that creature. So one in a long line of Basilisk abilities, but he attacks. Really? Why do you attack there? If the life totals are 17-17, don't you just need to block?
Yeah, I don't know that I understand that.
I mean, you're grasping at straws, right? You're playing Dredge and your opponent has Rest in Peace.
So he's got the... So yeah,
He's going to Nature's Claim the Jitte.
Yeah.
He believes in the beatdown plan, apparently. So does this Dredge list have much of a backup plan? I mean, it's pretty...
No, there is no backup
Liquid,
plan.
Bridge from below, like, this deck just doesn't work
There's no backup plan.
without the graveyard. Lion's Eye Diamond.
You're going to see a lot of expensive 1-power bad creatures trying to attack and probably failing to do so effectively.
It looks like this is game 2, and Rob is up a game.
So I have been a huge advocate of dredge and vintage. I've written about it a lot.
Yeah.
I've had a decent amount of success with it. I've played it in Legacy, not as much. I still think it's an okay deck. It's a viable deck.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really like it in Legacy though.
So here's Faithful Saluting.
I mean, you'll see tomorrow what Bazaar of Baghdad does to this type of strategy.
Oh yeah.
I mean, this type of deck, you know, the Legacy one, it'll mull to 6, it'll cast something, it'll get dazed, they'll wasteland your Rainbow Land, and now you just sit there and do nothing for 3 turns. I mean, yeah, you can get the hands where you LED and you just explode and annihilate your opponent, but even without a lot of graveyard hate, you can see he's down a game against what is really a control deck. You know, that's if your dredge deck can't win game 1s against control decks, you have a problem. So I'm just not a...
Well, he got to 5-1.
Oh, the deck, like I said, the deck's not bad, and Brett is obviously a great player, but...
Good, not great for the deck.
Yeah, I just... the Legacy version, and he just continues to draw Bridge from Belows, which just has to be making him extra salty right now, but...
Cephalid Coliseum's not a great land when Rest in Peace is in play either.
But the vintage version of this deck is just so overpowering compared to this one.
Yeah, no, the deck's a lot better in vintage for sure.
So the vintage version pretty much gets to ignore, you know, opposing counter magic until the post-board games.
Sure. Now the deck is good enough in vintage though that people will have, you know, 6 sideboard cards against it.
That's the big difference. So the issue
it is both good and hated. So those 6 sideboard cards hang out even when you haven't run into Dredge in a while.
Yeah, the issue with Dredge is that Reanimator and to a lesser extent maybe Tin Fins are reasonably good decks in Legacy and have had decent showings the last 3 or 4 months.
Right, so you get hit by splash damage.
Yeah.
You know, that Rest in Peace is not, I mean, I'm sure Rob knew he could run into Dredge, but he's also happy to play it against Tarmogoyf,
which we saw earlier.
All right, Rob resolving Brainstorm. Technically, he's losing the race. Technically. One damage going each way each turn, but it's 17-12. Lingering Souls, tripling his clock. Now, Brett surely blocks, right? Doesn't even need the deal combat damage trigger to kill a Lingering Souls token.
Yeah, this is just not a battle that the Dredge deck is meant to win.
Do you think he was right to Nature's Claim the Jitte over that Rest in Peace?
I mean, part of the problem is that his Coliseums are not active. He's got no draw spells in his hand.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like he has Careful Study. He doesn't have Breakthrough. Even if he blew up the Rest in Peace, he's still not really doing anything. It's not. It's just he doesn't have the cards. He keeps drawing Bridge from Belows, which is like just the worst of all possible draws.
What do you think of the Esper control deck in this field?
I mean, I feel like it's okay. It's just a solid deck. I don't think it's exceptional. I don't think it has a ton of weaknesses either. Yeah, just
plow your Putrid Imp, plow your Stinkweed Imp. Get out of my way. I'm coming over with 1-power creatures whether you like it or not.
Esper Deathblade up until probably May or June, I think a lot of people would have said, yeah, it's a top-tier Legacy deck. Its results have sort of been, you know, whether it's just people not playing it or performance just not there, but the last 3 or 4 months has not been as popular. There's nothing wrong with it.
All those lands hurt.
Yeah,
Coliseum,
it's just
Coliseum.
So awkward.
The last counter from the Gemstone.
And it's like all this for like
A 1/2?
a Narcomoeba or
A 1/2.
Yeah.
This is way better than a Narcomoeba. Come on. This guy has 2 toughness. Only cost me an entire land.
Well, it's true. I mean, it's definitely better than the entire opposing. Yeah, it cost me a land and 2 life to get this guy out. He's getting Force of Willed.
This is bizarro magic.
I mean, I have lost games like this, even in Vintage, where I'm playing. I can think of one in particular. I'm playing the blue control deck.
Yep.
I get a Jace out, and my opponent's just swinging Narcomoebas and Stinkweed Imps at me, and I just can't find something, and I just die.
Yep.
So it's one of the big arguments against Dredge is it's sort of this like weird perverted version of Magic where just strange things happen, and I don't think he's got. I think this is Rusty the end.
Playing Dredge doesn't make you the most popular guy either.
No.
Like, nobody wants to play against you.
No, it is.
Like,
it's
what
like,
are you doing playing that deck?
You do feel like you have the scarlet letter on you for that day because as soon as the first round's over, people go around and say, he's playing Dredge, he's playing Dredge, he's playing Dredge. So, again, maybe not quite as much in Legacy, but in Vintage for sure. That's a phenomenon that you see at every Vintage tournament. People want to know, who are the people playing Dredge? Yeah, I mean, he can't even use any of his lands here. He should just cast Breakthrough for X = 3 and
do the honorable thing.
Yeah, just end this. Yeah, there it is.
All right, there's the scoop. There's the handshake. Rob Long moves to 6-2. Needs to win what? Just needs to win 1 and then hope to draw.